Common Sense Fails. With your hosts, Chris and Drew. Warning, content may be hot.
We are now live.
Recording. It's actually not, is it? It's not live.
Well, it's kind of live. Yeah. It's live in our in our time space. It's live. So you know, this is a bit of a moment. I should welcome you, my co-presenter. Go on.
We should be popping one out.
Yeah, that probably doesn't sound that great to be saying that. But look, the good thing about this now is we might well be live, but hopefully once I've had Mr. Music Radio Creative, the one and only Mike Russell, give me my one-to-one training lesson on Monday, this could sound semi-professional.
Well, that'd be a good start, wouldn't it? That would be a great start.
But what we've got to point out to the listeners or listener, however many we've got, is that this is our first attempt. So it's kind of like, I know, a pre-episode one. Hopefully things are going to get better. But yeah, this is the first one, everybody. So there's going to be mistakes. But bear with us. It'll be pretty cool, hopefully.
Amazing.
Yeah, like we've done this before. Do you remember the days of CB radio? I used to hate talking on a CB radio. And that was like when I was 12.
I vaguely remember you being scared of talking on the mic. What channel did you start off on?
Used to start off at wasn't it like 1919 for a copy?
1919 for a copy,
and then you'd sit there and you go, hit another channel. I don't even know what to say. You say, go to channel 40 or something. And I remember
on the side.
And I remember having, I thought I was the dogs because I remember having a CB radio with this massive aerial in the loft, and I had 80 channels. So most CB radios came out with just 40 channels, and I think they used to say, hit the high button, and you'd hit the high button and you'd go up to, from 41 to 80. And I just used to, what was I? I was 13, 14 at the time. And I just remember, I don't know what you used to do. You used to keep pressing the, when you had the sort of, the mic thing that you'd speak into, and I'd keep pressing the button to just wind people up. So I would crash their conversations and wind these people up, and they'd just be coming around going, I'm going to find that guy, and we're going to, and I'd be like, yeah, come and find me. And all they had to go off was my signal strength. But of course they had no evidence of where I was because they couldn't see the aerial or anything. So that could be a very early where common sense fails, right? So there I was on the CB radio, just pressing the button, crashing into people's conversations. So yeah, it was a bit of a common sense fail, I guess, from way back then. But just for people that are listening to us for the first time, if they ever get to hear this episode, or even if they join us 5 ways in, and we need to come back and review what we've been saying in the past. What is this podcast all about, boys?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? So we're calling this Where Common Sense Fails, and I think it is exactly what it is in the tin. It's where common sense fails. It's where people don't do what you'd really expect them to do, thinking with sense, or where people have failed to act with sense, and you have to move into a sort of a nonsensical manner of telling people that their pie is hot when they've asked for a hot pie.
But we need to make it a bit more concise and make people go, so what is the purpose of the podcast? Who are we? It's like, I guess we need to get that intro in, right? We need to be able to say, I'm your presenter. I'm Chris, along here with my co-presenter, Drew. Say hello, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
Just like the two Ronnies.
But I guess really, are we presenting or are we talking?
A bit of both, because I think, and we're going to find our own way as we go through this. So everybody, please bear with us while we find our feet. I'm sure there'll be some serious stuff in here. There'll be most definitely some stupid stuff. There'll be some cock-ups. We've got to find out what we're doing. And you're right. Are we presenting or are we talking? I was talking to a couple of people today, just inviting them along as guests on on our podcast. So in that respect, we're hosting it, right? So we're going to have a pre-recorded conversation with these people, and then we're going to interject it and bring it in there. One of the other things I think we need to get out there, and I want you to think about, because I haven't told you about this already, I was going to spring it on you, but and I'm going to ask it of every guest that we have, certainly over the next coming weeks, because we cannot miss what's gone on in the last 3 months. This whole COVID thing, this pandemic and everything else, it's had a massive impact. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this podcast, really just was to try and just keep me occupied, because I'm in total isolation at home and in the office. But I have a passion for music. I love my music. And in the early days, I used to drive in and just, listen to songs that reminded me of what we're going through. So I'm going to ask every person that we interview, that we have as a guest on the podcast, and I want you to think about this. I don't want your answer now. Have a think about it. What song, I know, and you've only got one, what song for you kind of sums up the last 3 months? What sums up lockdown? So have a think about it. I'll tell you what mine is. And mine's a bit of a, I'll tell you mine now, actually. So it came to me when I was just driving into the office one morning. It's probably about early April, and the cloud, there was not a cloud in the sky, not a vapor trail from a plane. And do you remember the song by Tina Turner from Mad Max? And it's "We Don't Need Another Hero." And that came on, right? And I'm listening to the words and I'm going, oh my God, that kind of sounds like she's talking about now. But also it has a double edge as well, because "We Don't Need Another Hero" also just makes me giggle a little bit, because there was that big thing around clapping for the NHS, clapping for our heroes. Yeah, and I think what was interesting for me over these last 3 months is how everybody wanted to be a hero. Right, because everyone was clapping for the NHS, and then I remember seeing a clip from someone who was a checkout girl at Sainsbury's going, "I'm a hero because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be getting served." And then that just caused a wave of things on Facebook where people go, "Well, my husband's a hero because he empties the bins. My husband's a hero because he fixes the trucks that delivers." And everybody was basically saying, "I'm a hero too, don't forget me." And so that song also kind of is a way of saying to people, we don't need another hero. The heroes of the NHS, the heroes of the people saving lives. The rest of you're kind of just doing your job, right? You're not putting yourself at too much risk. So it was also a little bit tongue in cheek. So that's my song of COVID. That's my song of lockdown. Tina Turner, "We Don't Need Another Hero." And then I think in a couple of weeks, what I'm going to do is compile all these. So you've got to the end of this podcast to come up with yours. And then what we're going to do is put together a playlist and then make that available. So if people want the sort of where common sense fails playlist, we'll tell them what it is, and then they can go off and compile it themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to do on that. Now,
okay.
Go on. You were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to comment on "We Don't Need Another Hero," really, because you surprised me with that song as a choice.
Why?
Well, the reality is that you're a little bit cool.
I'm a little bit cool.
You're a little bit cool, yeah. You're a little bit cool. I mean,
it is a good job we're not visual on this.
It's worth chucking it in there because you are a little bit of cool. And I suppose in a way is that if people do follow these podcasts, then they will get to know a little bit more about us.
They certainly will.
Hope so. It'd be interesting to think about how much we reveal about ourselves, our own personal lives, our own personal experiences, but also what music we listen to.
Yeah, and I think that's going to come out over the series. And I think it'd be nice if we can get people on that journey to get to know us, because I think it's important, and I don't want to harp on about it too much, but it's about getting to sort of get our personalities out there and let people know who we are. And I guess where we come from, because I think that's also interesting and important. So listeners, just to give you a little bit of a background, I've known Drew since I was 12, since when I came back to live in this country from Germany, and that was back in 1980. I can't believe it is this year, as I said to you a few weeks ago, Boyd, 40 years. And I think, what people might find out about us is every time, right, I talk to you, every time I see you, every time we get together, you just transport me back to being 18, right? So apologies, everybody, if I start to sort of go back to being a silly teenager, but it just brings me into that.
You mean regress?
Or even regress, even. That's a good word. That's what I should be saying. But it's also, I wish I'd captured it on audio the other day when we had that conversation, and you just burst into belly laugh, and I couldn't get a word out of him, listeners. He was just laughing over something, and when someone laughs so much and they can't even talk, and you know what? I was getting frustrated. I was going, just tell me what are you trying to say? And all I kept hearing was you laughing and laughing, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know what he's laughing about now, but that will come out because it's just our personalities, right? What, you want me to tell everyone what we were laughing about? But is it appropriate or not? No, probably not. Then let's leave that one till later. Probably not. That could be one of those suspense things, right? If you listen into the series 2 or episode 2 or whatever we're going to call it, then Drew might just unveil what the laughter was about, and I might be a little bit embarrassed by the sounds of it. So do you think we'll have some form of questions and answers on a website at some point where if people said, well, actually, can you answer a question? Or perhaps they want to make a comment to say, this is a bit terrible, or can we have a little bit more of Drew talking, please? Because Chris, you do talk a lot. Or actually, I know. It's a podcast. You've got to talk. But feedback's really important, isn't it? But also, if somebody's got a question, then perhaps we either cover it in the show. I suppose we could have our own little Twitter channel. Have we got a Twitter chat? Well, so I think that's a brilliant idea, and you bring me on to our social presence, because we have a Facebook page and we have an Insta page, and so anybody can go out there and do a search for Where Common Sense Fails on Facebook, on Insta. We don't have a Twitter just yet. People can post comments, feedback, and I'd encourage it, right? Because the only way we're going to get better is if people, tell us what we're doing wrong or give us things to discuss. And so completely open for that, and would actively encourage people to post questions and to ask us to discuss certain things if they want us to, right? You up for that? So is it? Absolutely. I'm just wondering if I had the Twitter feed open now or the Insta feed right now, I'll be saying, can I see a photo of you when you were aged 18? What? We can't do that on podcasts, though, can we? Well, I don't mean for it to be posted right now, but I think that if we're going to have a web presence of type, then perhaps you should be showing what you looked like when you were 18, when so we get an idea of what you're regressing to. Okay, I don't have many pictures of me because I'm not that very photogenic, but I think I have one around that time. It's not quite like the one that you and Aki posted the other year. Did you see that one? You two, when you went on that holiday, that infamous holiday to Mallorca or Benidorm or where it was that you went to, and you're both sitting there with your kind of wham lookalike with your no tops on. I thought you meant the photo of me with my bum hanging out. I don't think I've seen that one. Right. And again, everybody, thank God we are on audio only, because I don't think that would be a great sight. But going back to maybe some of the topics that we're gonna discuss. I read, I think yesterday or the day before. Would you class this as Where Common Sense Fails? I don't know if you saw this in the press or on the news, but a guy went on a date with a woman, and this was in the national press. He went on a date with a woman, and he's now suing her for £130,000 because on their first date they had a kiss. Now, what she didn't tell him was that she had a cold sore. So she gave him a kiss and transferred the cold sore to him, which caused him great anxiety. Okay. Yeah. He ended up going to hospital. He's now apparently going through treatment to deal with the stress that it's caused him. So he is suing her, and he's taken her to court, and it kicked off yesterday or the day before for £130,000. Right? I mean, what is the world coming to, right? Where, could you imagine now when you go on a date, you're going to have some kind of like a disclaimer form where you say, do you know what, can you please sign this? It means that you're clear of all diseases. I can't catch anything from you. You will not sue me and blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. It's just going to make, I don't know. Is this what they now call woke? Are these people kind of woke or whatever it might be? I just feel like I'm not with it, but.
So what is woke?
So I might cut this bit out of the podcast because I'm going to show myself up here for not knowing what woke is, because I hear it around a lot, and it's all kind of like this new kind of generation, which is you're kind of offended by everything. So you just can't say anything about anything without sort of upsetting anybody. But I think we need to get clarification on that. Maybe what you should be doing is typing on your keyboard whilst we're talking. And doing a search for woke and seeing what it actually says, because you know what, I have no idea. But I just can't believe that some guy is suing a girl. And again, I'm presuming the date didn't go any further, so I don't know whether or not she kind of dumped him. So he's gone, do you know what, I'm going to sue you. But it might be quite awkward if they're still seeing each other. And he's now going, do you know what? By the way, I'm taking you to court for 130K.
Well, it does limit the longevity of the relationship. I mean, that's not sustainable. Unless she's got an insurance policy for going around kissing guys.
And there you go. You might have just uncovered a new business opportunity. Take out
dating insurance.
Dating insurance.
You heard it here first.
Am I allowed to take that idea? By the way, everybody, that's copyrighted. You heard it here first. You cannot go off and start doing it. And if you do, Drew's going to sue you.
Cut us in. Just cut us in.
What percentage? What percentage are we asking? I say we. See, I've already got my share of this now as well. So it's not even my idea, but I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get my percentage of that. So what's our cut, Drew?
Well, I mean, let's face it, let's do it 50-50.
50-50?
No, between us.
Oh, between us? But 50-50 of what, 1%? That's next to nothing.
I think let's go 50-50 of 40%. They can have the 60.
You know what? I fear this sounds like a reverse Dragon's Den. So even before someone comes and pitches us the idea, what we're saying to them is, no, we want 40%.
So the way to do this, I think, is that if AXA take up on this, they have to cut us in for 50-50, and we split it 50-50. If Allianz, they pick it up, because I think they're more of a premium brand, I think they can have 60% and we have 40%.
If they're listening to this, that kind of just haven't we just weakened our negotiating position there by saying, if you're Allianz, you've got to pay a premium for the same product. But what we need to do is just do a date and time check on this, right? So if anybody is listening, it is the 17th of June, 2020, where we made this announcement. So that if anybody tries to claim this after it, we can sit there and go, no, we came up with the idea on the 17th of June, 2020.
Yeah.
Done. And by the way, it's about 20 to 9 in the evening.
See, what they should be doing on say Bumble as a dating app. I don't know whether you know anything about Bumble.
I certainly do.
If you pay, say, £2 a month extra, your insurance is included.
Insurance for what?
Dating.
Get out of here. Right. On your advice, by the way, everybody, and this is something else you'll find out about me. I'm sure we will have, if we're ever stuck for discussion points, we can always talk about my love life because boy, there is loads to talk about. And it'll be like a therapy session. But on your advice, I went on to Bumble today.
All right. Excellent.
And so at about, lunchtime, 2, 3 o'clock, I put my profile on Bumble. I put a few pictures on Bumble, and Bumble has, I don't know a lot about it, but you can be like looking for dates, looking for friends, and looking for business contacts. Is that right?
Yep.
So I went on and I put my pictures on there, and I put a stupid little bio write-up because I was impatient and just went, here we go, blah, 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 let's see what comes of it. Filled in all the questions that it asks you and just went, right, bang, it's gone. So my picture is already up there. And do you know what? I've already had responses.
Well, there's no surprise in that, really.
I've already had, get this, right? I won't say a name, but, hopefully she won't ever listen to this. But it's a surgeon from somewhere, not a million miles away.
Okay.
And do you know what? She's gone straight in for the jugular. Right. So she sends me a very nice kind of, intro. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah. What is it you've been up to? And I respond. We get a little bit chatty, and then bang, she's in there. She's like, right, how long have you been on this? What are you looking for? Blah, blah. And then she's going, is this a little bit too much too soon? I'm like, wow. It's like, so I kind of like, as a bit of a joke, and funny enough, she hasn't responded to this. When she said, how long have you been on here? What are you looking for? When was your last relationship ended? I'm like, geez, she's like literally, this is the third text that she sent me, and she's already asking these kind of questions. So in my own stupid, sense of humor, and I think it's funny, I just said to her, says, no, these questions aren't, too much too soon. I says, I suppose, no point wasting time, is there? I said, however, just to preempt your next few questions, here are my answers. No, yes, sometimes, no, cheeky. I mean, I'm not answering that one. And I just wonder how she'll take that. And needless to say, she hasn't responded just yet. So there's another one that might have bit the dust.
Well, she might be right now saving somebody's life.
No, because she said that she was she's now in quarantine, in isolation, because she's had 9 patients in the last week who've been to see her, and they're not wearing any masks. And I'm not sure whether one of them was showing signs of COVID. So she now is working away and in isolation. So she's probably bored. She's probably sitting at home now, bored. And if I just have a quick, those clicks, by the way, you heard in the background, sorry about that. That was my phone, which is coming through on this. Let me just switch down the phone. If she is at home bored, I think my message has scared her off because she hasn't replied.
Still.
And that was about 2 hours ago. But anyway, it's just a little bit of fun, right? These kind of things, I'm not going to get too hung up on them. But yes, on your advice, I have gone down that Bumble route. So I dare say I might well be the victim of where common sense fails.
See, I'm just wondering about this, and I think we should, in each of these slots, we should talk about your love life.
Oh, do you know what? Well, let's get a jingle made. Do you know
Chrissy's?
Do you know what? Do you remember what was his name? Not Simon Bates. What was his name on Radio 1 that had not the golden hour, the sort of do 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 do.
That was Steve. Steve.
No, his name was Bates. No, and it wasn't what you're thinking, right? What was his name? And it was basically a love kind of story. And and it was mainly sad.
I think he's on a Sunday morning.
He's no longer
now.
on the radio. It's not. No, it isn't Steve Wright. He was on mid-morning on Radio 1 in the early 80s. Anyway, what I think we need to do then, if we're going to make it a thing, I'm going to get a jingle done where I can get them going. Chris's love. Whatever it might be, Chris's love stories. And And then we can have it.
No,
and I can be the patient and you can be the one who's giving me the advice.
It'll be interesting to see how this evolves. So we're making it up as we go along, if anybody hasn't really sort of caught on. But is there a possibility that your love life does suffer because where common sense fails?
What, you think
or maybe they don't.
I don't have any common sense when it comes to my love life. Yeah. Well, I've had a few people always say to me, "Oh, you're to blame. It's always your fault. You don't like to accept it." I'm like, really? But maybe you're right. Maybe what we need to do over the next coming weeks, like I say, is maybe spend 5-10 minutes on every episode about Chris's love life. And well, does it suffer?
Yeah, I mean, it could be some of the whole, or it could be either one of you that's failing, or rather senses failing you. Yeah, and I think just thinking about this through, I think it would be really good fun that we actually have a potential date that we talk about, or a potential response. So we can talk about, this is the message and what's the response. We don't have to use names, but we can talk about it, possibly.
Yeah,
it was Simon Bates.
We can go for that, and it.
You're
was
right.
Simon
Yes,
Bates.
I remember now. Yeah.
But I don't know what the feature was called though. Maybe we could put that out. See, if we did have a social presence, and it was kind of live, we should put it out there. Like true kind of radio style to all our listeners. To all our listeners, 0. What was Simon Bates's slot on Radio 1 where he used to talk about sad love stories? So you carry on talking for a second because I'm literally just trying to find it now on the on internet.
No.
No, radio silence is never good.
That's right. I'm actually waiting for an answer because you're putting it there. So, yeah, I think.
It was called Our Tune. That's what the session was. It was called Our Tune. So I think we need, if we're going to do it, Boyts, we need to come up with a title.
See, I listened to that one. It was Betty, and she chose Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, we don't need another hero.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was more of a Joe Dolce, whatever his name was with that "Shut up in your face."
Or Lady in Red.
You are getting too soppy.
I know.
So yeah, that could be that. So I guess let's see what develops. You never know.
Are we talking about your love life again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So I'll keep you posted, everybody, for those that really want to know. And you know what? I might have to, though. The trouble is with that, right? Is it's only going to be interesting telling people about the story of me trying to find love. What happens when I find love? Does that mean it's the end of the feature?
Well, no, because they don't really last that long, Chris.
What? My love life?
Yeah.
Wow. God, you do give me some hurting comments sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm getting older now, right? I'm getting older, and I don't know. I just know what I want. Well, no, I don't know what I want actually, because the last relationship I came out of, well, I knew what I wanted, but I couldn't see what they didn't want. I was like, oh.
Well, is that an example where common sense failed?
Absolutely, I think.
Yeah.
When you get kicked in the teeth and in the nuts as much as I did over 2 years, and you didn't see the signs, that is a failure of common sense. Although some people would say it's love is blind, Chris.
So if we're talking about your nuts, and is there a sense of where there's no sense, there's no feeling? So you didn't have any feeling in your nuts because you allowed her to repeatedly kick you in the nuts?
No, maybe what maybe what it is I'm one of those sado, whatever they call them, that likes pain. And actually I felt a lot of pain and thought, yeah, I quite like that. What do they call those people? There's a term for it.
Sadomasochists.
That's the one. You know?
See, I think as we explore this more, is that we need a few cliffhangers. So
dun, dun, dun.
they know to come back, because by the time they've built up their own relationship with you, Chris, that they want to find out whether it worked or not, whether you went on that date with Kimberly.
Okay, right. Can I just say, everybody, if anybody is actually listening to this at the moment, he's making up stuff now, because I do not even know a Kimberly. He's just made that up. However, I am willing to put it out there for entertainment purposes. For entertainment purposes, I am willing on every episode, if you think it's worth it, to give 5 minutes on how my love life is going. So you know what? We can maybe draw in some of those listeners and let them sit there and go, thank God I'm not him. Because that's what it will turn out like.
Would you date a listener?
And that, listeners, is where we're going to end this first episode of this podcast. As Drew said, bit of a cliffhanger. So to find out what goes on, subscribe, tune in, and listen to the next one. It'll be out soon.
That's it for this week's episode. Add us to your podcatcher or on iTunes now so that you can make sure you never miss out on another second of our wonderful podcast. We would hate for you to miss out. Have a great week, everyone.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.